Welcome to Evolution on the Mic. I am your host, Ariana de la Cruz.
And I'm your co-host, Antoine Dove.
And we are back, season 5, The Leader in You, leading with faith, taking bold action in 2025. In our last episode, we took a look at our best episodes from 2024. What a year it has been. I truly cannot believe that it's been a year already. And we wanted to make sure that we captured the best episodes that we had in 2024. So if you guys missed it, go back and check it out because we've had a wonderful year with amazing content. On today's episode, we will be discussing what it takes to take bold action in 2025. It's easy to get overwhelmed with fear when you start to think about the actions that you want to take in 2025. It's a lot. You may be thinking, I want to start a business in 2025. I want to get a promotion in 2025. I want to speak on a big stage in 2025. Or maybe you just want to lose an extra 25 pounds in 2025. Or if you're like me, you're trying to move to a whole new country in 2025. We want for you to feel like you can push forward and be prepared heading into this new year. We want to provide you with the tools and the mindset that you can take with you that would help you to take action in 2025. But before we get into all that, Antoine, how are you? How you've been in this amazing, beautiful Christmas day?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Happy holidays to you,
Yeah,
Ari.
thank
Happy
you.
holidays to everyone out there. I just hope you guys are feeling the love of this beautiful season that we are involved in right now, that's surrounding us, a season in which we celebrate the birth of Jesus himself and just really honestly leaning into the beauty of love. When I think of Christmas and this time of year, I just think of love. There's so much love and joy in everyone's hearts that overflow, and I'm so grateful for it. So I myself am on cloud nine. I'm excited. My daughter came to visit me here for
Awesome.
Christmas, so we've had a chance to spend time together. We went ice skating and spent time with my mom and my niece the other day, which was really nice to get out the house and do that. And yeah, it's just
Awesome.
like I love this time of year. I really do. I feel like people are just in a different mindset. People are a lot more patient this time of year. In some cases, I will say, because I'm sure if you're out there rushing to get the last minute gift, maybe you're not as patient, right?
Yep.
But I can say, for myself, I've just been very grateful, and I've been spending a lot of this time this year to reflect, especially in things that I've been doing personally. This time last year, I was in a very different place than I am now. And so it's just been a great time to reflect on what has happened this past year, what things I can take as learnings for heading into next year, which is why I'm so pumped about this episode because I think we'll get into a lot of that. But all right, what about yourself? What's going on with you? I mean, you just got back from New York. We haven't
Yeah.
seen you in a little bit. What's going on? What's
Yeah,
happening?
it's been beautiful. It's been great. I love that it's Christmas Day, and like you were saying, that it's a day that represents love, right? Because God is love, and and everything that represents Jesus. And we're in red, right? And red symbolizes love, right? Like so. I don't know. I just thought that when you were like, "Oh, the day of love," and I was like, "Oh," and we're honoring that, with wearing red. So, but yeah, I came back from New York. Couple days ago, and it was beautiful. I was there for almost a week, which is like the longest that I've probably been in New York since I've moved to Florida 11 years ago. And I didn't want to leave. This was the first time ever that I went, and I had such an amazing time. It was just good energies, good vibes. I stayed in a really nice hotel, but also spent a few nights as well in my mom's house. So I love that flexibility. It was a change for me. It was a difference for me. And it was awesome to be around my family and around the good energy and feeling that love,
Mhm.
being that, they're so far away. So I had a great time. And I also filmed a podcast with Charles Noonan about my business funding company and all the work that we're doing together in his land bank community, because I am his funding specialist. So I teach in there once a month, and I basically help his mentees that are looking to purchase real estate get the funds. So it was great to do that. I was very honored. It was my first time doing a podcast outside of ours, right? So it was very nerve-wracking, but God is good. He was definitely with me, and it went better than I expected. Great conversation. So you guys check that out. Probably will link the link for that show once it airs. But I'm doing great. You know what I mean? I'm doing great. I'm super excited for what 2025, has to offer me. There's so many goals that I want. I'm sure, Antoine, like you don't want your 2025 to look like your 2024.
No, not at all.
Right?
No.
Like, and neither do I. Like, I want it to look so different and so drastic than what it is right now. Like, I want to live on the beach. I want to live in Costa Rica. I want to like, double my business, my earnings and what I've made and the impact that I've had. I want to like, multiply that. I want to hire more people for my company so that I can, help others grow and develop in their own, personal and professional life. I want to like be someone that can help others. So there's so many things that I want to do in 2025. And, I think to myself, as probably all you guys watching are thinking to yourselves, I want 2025 to be the best year ever. Right. But maybe in the back of your mind, like me in the back of my mind, speaking for myself, there may be a bit of fear and doubt, right, of the things that we want. Can they really happen? Are they going to go as I planned or as I want? Are these things tangible for me? Can I really make these things happen? And, I want to embrace this new era, and I want you guys to embrace it too. If there's something that's in your heart that you want to fulfill, something that you feel God has called you to do in 2025, in whatever area it is, whether it's in your personal area, your professional area, your spiritual area, I want to let you guys know that you're not alone if you're feeling some fear and doubt, if you're feeling a bit impatient, if you're feeling uncertain, because this is all part of the journey. And my goal is, to empower you guys in this journey, also to empower myself and empower Antoine, because, in the next few days, we're going into a new year. And I want to prepare all of us to stand strong in it and to know that anything is possible and that we can get through it. But there's some things that we may encounter. And the first one is fear, right? The fear that comes in, the doubt that comes in. What can we do with fear? For me, what I've noticed, especially in my journey right now in taking this big leap of faith and moving to a whole new country, a country that is not even my country of origin, because I am from the Dominican Republic and I am moving to Costa Rica, or I really want to move there and I'm taking the steps to go there. There's a lot of fear in that, of the unknown. And what I tell myself to kind of make myself feel a little better about this is turning that fear into faith. Faith that I know I am doing this for a higher purpose. I know God is calling me to this. I know this is something I feel deeply in my heart that is my next step, right? And if I can shift the word fear into faith and allowing God to do what he needs to do and walking with him, then that kind of that has helped me eradicate those dark feelings, and also the feelings of doubt that comes into that, because, even though living in Costa Rica is something that feels like, oh, girl, you could do it. If you can live in the United States, like Costa Rica probably better because the economy's, whatever is better over there. But there's still a sense of doubt that comes in, because a part of me is like, is this really me? Is this really the time? Right? Is this really something that is not just, oh, because it sounds pretty that I live in Costa Rica and I live on the beach, right? And so there's doubt that comes in. And I just try to, center myself. I try to meditate and try to just know that if this is something that's tugging at me, it's because God is trying to tell me something, right? Something isn't going to tug at you if it's not something that God wants you to pay attention to, right? And I just feel like this tug has been there for a while now, and I'm going based on that feeling, and I'm trying to not allow the doubt to be the main force of my reactions or my decisions. I'm trying to let everything being led by God. And another thing that I tell myself, and maybe you guys can tell yourselves, is I know you're probably thinking, what if I fail? Right. And that's probably a thought. Like, what if I go to Costa Rica and I'm like, I hate it and it doesn't work out? And I'm like, this is the worst decision possible. I should have not done that, But why don't we switch that to, what if this leads to growth? What if this next step, this next action that I take leads to the major breakthroughs that God wants for me in my life, the major breakthroughs that I need to propel me forward to the things that I really want to make happen in my lifetime? How will this help me grow mentally, spiritually, physically, right? The people that I might meet, the opportunities that might come my way, the changes that just naturally happen within me, knowing that I took this amazing, scary step and I did it and I conquered it and it went beautiful. right? So a lot of the times we think about what if we fail and we stay there because we start thinking about all the negative things that might happen. Why don't we switch that to what if this leads to the major shifts, the major changes, the major growth that I want in my life? What do you think
Yeah.
about that, Antoine?
No, I
That
mean,
just little shift in perspective and story we tell ourselves.
I love those little shifts because those little shifts are the things that create huge changes in our lives. It's the small things. Like it's like I had the guy tell me one time he was talking about, plastic surgery and that the changes that are made with plastic surgery when someone's having plastic surgery to their face are like so small, like it's not even very visible to the eye, but like those small changes make such a huge difference. And I think about the same thing when it comes to fear. And when I think of fear, the first thing that comes to my mind is the acronym, right? False evidence appearing real. Like we always hear that. And I think what you're doing here and what you're suggesting is like what we know fear to be is that it's not really true. It's something that we haven't experienced yet. It's something that we're afraid of because of, like you said, what if is not a definitive statement, but you have the power to change that non-definitive statement into something that is very real for you. You have the power to change and create something that you want to be your future. And so when I think of it, and I put my own self in that same boat, I have goals for next year, and there's things that I'm afraid of failing. Like I don't want to fail. But like you said, what if it's not fail? What if taking this next step means that I'm going to be introduced to a new community of people that takes my learning and growing to the next level? Or what if by me going here and doing this, it opens a new doorway that allows me to experience something different, that gives me a new perspective, that shifts some things in my life. And it's manifesting those, right? Like saying that, but also believing it, that I think allows those doorways to open and allows us to step through some areas of our life that we never could have seen happen. I mean, we talked about this last year, Ari, right? You were contemplating quitting your job. You had this amazing business that was starting to run. You were contemplating quitting your job. I don't know. Like, this is so scary. Like, whenever I jump out here, what's going to happen? Like, I could fail. Like, what am I
Yeah.
doing?
Wow.
And you fast forward to today and you're like, I'm trying to double my business. I'm trying to bring new people on. And all of that was because those minor shifts, which leaves us in a place of opportunity, leaves us in a place of I want
Yeah.
more and what
Yeah.
else is out there, right? So I love it. I love it. And I think when you were talking, something else that comes for me with fear, and we kind of talked about this before, is that like what holds me back is this feeling of like the conditions have to be perfect. Like unless this is perfect, unless all these things are happening the way that I expect them to happen, then I can't take that move. So until this happens, I'm not going to make that move. And I think that for me has been one of the things that has truly held me back. I mean, I don't know about you. Do you experience those same type of things as you're going through fear and thinking through that?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of us do. We're waiting for the perfect timing to
Mm-hmm.
appear, like the perfect everything. Like, I'm going to start working on my business once, I get this raise at my job so that I can give me more flexibility to invest in my business. And what if the promotion don't come? What if the increase doesn't come? You're never going to do that. Oh, I'm going to lose the 25 pounds this year, but I'm going to wait for my husband or my spouse to get on a diet too, because that's going to be easier for me if once they're on board. I can do it. You know what I mean? No, you're right. Like we cannot operate on waiting for the right time, the right conditions, because they might never be the right conditions. We just
Yeah.
have to take the first step, right? The small, consistent steps over time will lead us to where we want to go. Never
Right.
starting, though, would never get us there.
Right.
So it's important that you realize that the magic happens when you just start. When you start, when you're uncertain, when you start scared and do it anyway, when you take those steps in those things that you say you want to do. Like, let's say I want to speak on a big stage in 2025, but I've never spoken on even in a small stage. I am going to feel like I need to take all these classes. I need to do all these things. I need to start on the small stages to get there, because those are the conditions I'm looking for to build up my confidence. But who said that that's the right way? Sometimes we just throw ourselves to the fire and figure it out. And it's like, oh, that went better than I thought. I didn't do too bad. There's things I could improve on. Um, but if I just keep waiting for all these other things to happen before I just say, you know what, I'm going to try to book a stage that I can go on and just do it, the magic happens when you just do it, when you just
Mhm.
take that first step and you start seeing yourself doing it. And then, yeah, you start practicing, getting better, getting all the resources, because those things are needed. But it's just starting. I think faith starts once you ignite the power of doing, right? There is a beauty, there is magic in just taking action. And the first step may feel the hardest, but everything after that, it's like, I'm in it already. I already started. Like once I get to Costa Rica, it's like, I am here. What is there to fear? Right. The fear is I'm not there yet and I'm thinking about it. I have to like leave my apartment. That's all the things. But once I'm there, even that's when the fear probably should start, because I got to figure it out and who knows what is going to happen over there and the lifestyle and all of that. But no, the fear starts now, but we start eradicating that by first implementing that faith, right? Knowing that God is with us, that we're not walking alone, and that He's going to guide us, protect us through the journey, right? He's going to place the right people, places, and things in our lives. So when we get to that point, it's like, oh, you seen it happen, you see how He got you there, and it's like He's going to continue taking me forward, right? He's not going to leave me and abandon me here once I get to Costa Rica, right? Like once I'm at the brink of it, He's going to leave me. No, if He got me there, he's gonna lead me to where that destination is meant to take me to, right? He's going to finish the full 360 on me, right? And
Mhm.
it's also like being like consistent, right, because it's not about perfection, it's about being consistent, continuing to harness the gift that you want, or the future things that you want to happen. And over time you start getting better. So just starting, staying consistent, bringing it to the finish line, and you're gonna feel so proud of yourself. You're gonna feel so like, like the undoable was done, and it's like, now what else can I do, right? You're gonna feel like you're unstoppable, you're untouchable. Like there's nothing that I can do, because I got to this point and it was not easy to get there, but I stayed consistent. I did
Mhm.
what I had to do each and every day. I started small, but man, was my dreams big.
Yeah. And when you were talking about that, I don't know if you feel this way, but again, being December, it's been a year since we launched the podcast. I
Mm-hmm.
can't help but think about when we first started and when we started this podcast. And the approach to it originally was we want to do a podcast. We had a theme, we knew what we wanted it to be about. We didn't really know where to start other than just to get started. And we just took the step. And we didn't go into it with the expectation that we're about to be on the level of a David Shands out the gate and we have all these people that are following us and watching our
Yeah,
podcast.
not at
We
all.
just did it from a place of faith. We both went into this knowing that God had called us to do something amazing, something great, and He put the seed through someone else to sow the seed into our lives about doing this through a platform of a podcast. And that was where we started. And we just started. And I laugh when I look back at where we came from to where we are today and the minor changes and things we've made along the way. But for us, what it really came down to is just being consistent,
Yeah.
constantly showing up, constantly taking the action. And I'm going to be real with you guys. I mean, there's some days where you don't want to shoot. You're like, do we have to shoot today? Is it really necessary for us to shoot today? I mean, is anyone going to really miss it if we don't have one episode? Is like, are they really going to care? But the truth is, and what we've learned through this process is that it's all about your consistency, your diligence. Like they'll say, if you're faithful over the little things, I'll make you ruler over the bigger things, the many things. And like that's it. It's just the small things. It's
Amen.
showing that consistency, showing up every day. And I'm saying this out loud because I also want to internalize it and hear it for myself because I've had those days where I don't show up consistently, or I may stop, or I may quit on myself. And that's fine if you hit that roadblock along the way. Like hit it, but don't stay there. Get up out of that. Say, hey, I acknowledge it. I slipped, but let's keep this moving. Let's go a few extra steps. Let's keep that mile rolling and let's keep getting to the next level. And to me, I think that's where the growth comes. That's where you're taking what is just a thought, because faith itself starts with a thought, but faith itself doesn't really mean anything until you've taken action. Like it's just a thought. Just like
Yeah.
business, everyone has a lot of great ideas. Let's be real. There's a lot of people who out there who goes, man, you saw that business? I thought of that business. Yeah, but you didn't take action. It's a lot of people that have great ideas,
Mm-hmm.
but who is actually taking the action? The faith itself is just an idea. That's all it is. But when you take the action and you lean into it, you build a certain sense of confidence in yourself
Mm-hmm.
and confidence in God and knowing that He's here for you. He's not going to let you fail. He's like, just one step at a time. Just take that step. And with each one, you'll continue to grow. And so I love the message of starting first with establishing the faith, but don't just have this thought and idea and you've overcame that fear and doubt. But now
Mm-hmm.
let's move into taking action. Let's put that faith into work. Let's do some
Yeah.
things that shows that that faith is not just a thought. That faith is something that I truly believe in so much that I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to take that next step. And to me, a lot of that is just about truly, embracing the journey. But I'm gonna be honest. All right, I'm gonna be real. For me, I don't always have a lot of patience. Like I just don't. I'm not patient with having to wait. I mean, constantly doing something, not always seeing the results. And I've ran into this even this year in 2024, where there's goals and things I set for myself, and constantly having to get up and do something and not seeing those immediate results is completely demoralizing. It makes you feel like, why am I doing this? You almost kind of want to give up and quit, Like, have you
Yeah,
experienced
I
that?
think no, absolutely. And I think the patience part,
Yeah.
there's something right before that that I want
What's
to
that?
address, because I think then this will kind of help cultivate the patience, right? And it's resilience, right? You have
Mm,
mentioned, and I kept thinking about it as you were talking, that, in the podcast, there's been moments where we are like, is anybody going to really care if we don't air a show this week? Like, who's really watching? Like, should we still be doing this? Like, there's just times where you just feel like, like, why am I doing this, right? Like, we feel like, not that it's a total failure, right? Because I know I'm doing this for God and we're doing this for God. But there's times where it feels like, when is this gonna, like, what is gonna blow up? Like, when things are what gonna have, like, a viral post or a viral, show. And that hasn't happened for us yet. And that does bring some doubt in the mind that, it's maybe this is a failure, right? Like, maybe we're failing, maybe we're not doing the right things. And then those moments come where it's like, oh, do we really want to shoot? And we're kind of getting like blockages of content or what we're going to talk about next, what's going to be the next series. And it's tough. But what happens is that when you are in a state of feeling like defeated, feeling like, maybe I'm failing, maybe like this is not working out as I thought, like, as you're in the journey of taking those action steps and you're feeling like, damn, there's setbacks happening, maybe you're having stinking thinking and, there's like negative thoughts getting at you. I think that those are opportunities for you to strengthen your faith.
mhm,
Because remember, faith is like believing in the unseen, right? Believing that the things that I do not see will happen. So I believe that we're going to go right. I believe that this podcast is going to be one of the biggest podcasts and the most impactful, inspirational, motivational podcasts to ever exist. That is my mindset, right? That's what I see in my spiritual eye. But man, my physical being eyes is like, girl, what is going on? Ain't nothing happening. And it is so frustrating sometimes. But what I realized for me and Antoine is that those moments, right, of feeling like this ain't really working out how I thought it, because I don't see it with my mind, with my physical eyes, is that it has really caused me to strengthen my faith. It has really called me to step in there and pray and really be like, God, like, I am trusting you because I know you gave me a vision of this podcast. You put it in me and on Antoine's heart to do this for you, to do this God-led, faith-led podcast for people to believe in you, believe in themselves, believe in community. And I truly believe that. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about our mission statement and our vision and our why for this podcast. So although I cannot see it in my physical eye, I am staying in that spiritual vision. I am staying in that spiritual eye. And it has caused me to increase my faith.
mhm,
When I'm having those moments, it's just opportunity to lean more into God, to lean more into Him, to meditate longer, to pray harder, to surrender my fears. And that's what it calls me to do. So even though it feels like it's daunting and it's scary, I love that when we actually do film, I feel like it gives me the energy for the next week until we film again. It fills me up. It fuels me up. It inspires me. It invigorates me. Our podcast teaches me something each and every episode. So this is also doing something for me, although we're doing this for the audience and the viewers. I know that me and Antoine leave this feeling so good, right?
mhm.
Like, not only because we were obedient and we're here and we're like continuing to do it, although we don't see the things we want to see in our physical eye, but that it just makes our vision more clearer of that, you know what, we're in this. We're not going to give up. Even if Antoine may have a moment of weakness, I'm his strength. I have a moment of weakness, Antoine is my strength. And I don't want you guys to view this video like, oh, you know, God gave you guys the opportunity and I'm hearing you guys complain. This is the normal part of the process when you are trying to achieve something bigger than yourself. And if you do not believe that, go ahead and try to achieve something bigger than yourself. You are going to have a lot of self-doubt, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of setbacks, and a lot of feeling of failure. Like, you're doing it, but am I really doing this the right way? Or am I doing this and it's going to be a complete waste of time? This is normal, y'all. But the fact is that we are still here. And us still being here just means that our faith in God is getting stronger each episode, because we are showing up. We are putting in the work, right? We are coming to God to be like, hey, what do you want us to talk about next? Not what do I want to talk about next, God, but what do you have to say to the people watching? And I know that in time, that consistency, that faith, that strengthening, that, you know, that pencil that we're sharpening with God is only going to get sharper, stronger, more unbreakable, right? We're going to have less moments of, you know, what are we really doing here? You know, but I love that we're still here. I love that me and Antoine still meet, you know, at least once a month, twice a month. And, you know, we come together. Like yesterday we met, and then I had to call my mom after, and she was like, you know, I'm like, look at y'all staying, you know, in it and communicating and continuing to sharpen each other with the podcast, because it's like, you know, once in a while, mom called me like, I just finished with Antoine talking about the podcast. And, you know, it's just like getting those recognitions from outsiders, like that they see us, that it's like, wow, look at you guys putting in that work late at night. Cause it was like, what, 9 o'clock at night yesterday when, you know, when we finished talking, it was like 9:30 at night. So it doesn't matter the time we make the time for it. And it has strengthened my faith. Those setbacks, the feels of failure, it has only strengthened the why I'm doing this, and to stay the course no matter what. And it's helped with the resilience, you know.